Before moving forward, I just wanted to quickly recheck our follow following functionality to know in case something's not working right. So let's just go about running the app again, and then we can see to it that if there's something left which we need to do. And at the same time, I was thinking that we can check in the Firebase also. So we have a user Crollo which has a followers collection in where we can see gone. But at the same time, I found this thing that gone does not have a following collection, which is kind of wrong, I believe. So in the followers, I see gone, that is fine. But then what is happening is that if I go to a following, there's nothing. How about I go to followers? How about I just refresh this now and okay. How about I go to this profile, I click on follow. So I should have followed the user. Let's go back and see if it's updated or not. So ideally it should be. Okay, so we have a following thing also right now. And we can see the user gone, and even in the followers we have the same user. This is fine. What happens if I unfollow the user? They should they should not state, basically they should not state successfully followed the user. So this is what is happening. So let's just go to our general user profile view. There we must be having this functionality, and what it does is that it states view model dot is following, and view model dot is following. Are we actually updating the is following here? I think this is causing the issue. So let's just quickly check that we have handle follow here, and we can, what we can do is that no, we don't need to update the handle follow, but then how would we? So I know what happened actually. Basically it updated it fine, but then our function call was handle follow again. So I think it should not be removed from the following state, and we still have following although we have unfollowed the user, and this is not even showing up because we just followed them back again. See your following, this is there. What happens if I unfollow just now? It says successfully unfollowed. If I just refresh it here, let's just check, it should, okay, so this is fine that we refreshed and it works. And if I click on follow, we have successfully followed. I was thinking that if we go inside view model dot is following, where is it being set? So is following is being fetched by check if user follows, and where all are we calling the check if user follows? So we are calling it here. So this is after handle follow user is ran, and this is also after this is ran. So this seems fine to me because this function updates how is following, so this should not mess up. Right now we should have a following array again, a sub collection again. So let's just see to it, we again have this, but now if we unfollow, it should say, no, it should not state successfully followed the user. It should have stated that successfully unfollow the user. So okay, this is a bug on our end that we have identified. So let's just look into general user profile view. Now you could see that we have the handle follow and the handle unfollow, and we check if the is following is false, then only we add it inside of there. We also have an on a pair API call to check if user follows, so that is fine. So what we can do is that we can print the value out. So what we can do is handle follow. Let's just go inside this function. I'm sorry about that. We can do the is following value is, and we can open this up and we can type in is following here, which is defined here, following value. So now let's just copy it here. We should have one more function, handle unfollow, and what we can do is that here we can add it here. So let's just print it out after I complete my functionality, and this is no try await, so that is fine. And I'm just thinking that this self dot following map, basically this following value is being updated inside fetch user following. So I think what I need to do is that after let's just go back to our view, and basically after follow or unfollow we would need to call fetch user following as well. So handle follow, and we can have fetch user following, and we can pass in the current user dot user id. Let's give it like that. Let's go inside fetch user following, and yeah, this is required. Or else I was thinking that how about we, what we can do is that I was worried about this dispatch queue, because we are waiting for this whole thing, but this dispatch queue is on the main thread, so this could take up some time. So I did not want to use the check if user follows inside of this function, so that is why I was avoiding that, because it can cause threading issues. But now that I'm thinking that we need to fetch user following every time we have this thing, or we can have try await fetch user following data basically, and this try await fetch user following data does really nothing. But what we can do is that we can write self dot following equals following, and maybe it would ask us that we need to use a dispatch queue here dot main dot async, and inside of here we would update this value, and this works fine. So this is there. Now what we can do is that we are using this. Where is fetch user following? Fetch user following, that is fine. But now I was thinking that we need to do something similar for fetch user followers. So fetch user followers data, we could do self dot followers equals followers. So I hope that updates it fine, and we can keep these public functions still because it's needed to call inside the user profile view. But then I was thinking that since it is like this, we need to do try await fetch user following data, and there we can have current user dot user id, and since we are doing try await, so this thing would actually wait for its completion when it calls that check if user follows again. So this is fine, and it says the result of call is unused. That is fine by us. What we can do is that we can copy this thing, we can go to handle unfollow now, and here we can do this also. So hopefully this should work out, and check if user follows when it's being repeated, so that is not what's needed. Let's go inside fetch user following. Yeah, we are using the following array and updating it, so that is fine, and our check user follows uses that, so hopefully that fixes the issue. Let's just see for ourselves. So I hope that you understood like what was happening. Basically, our check user follows uses the following array, which is updated by this function. And now this function was not immediately being called when we perform a follow following action. So that is why it was causing some issues. But now what we can do is that we can either check one more thing, fetch user following data. This seems fine. Let's just see for ourselves. See your following. Okay, right now, even in our database, I think we have both the following and the follower has gone. So that seems fine. Okay, so in the followers we have gone and in the following also we have gone. What we would do is that we will quickly unfollow him. So let's just see how that turns out to be. It says successfully unfollowed the user. That is fine. If I click on follow, so to say successfully followed the user. Now I quickly click unfollow as well. So it says successfully followed the user, which is again, I don't think so, right? Because why would it call successfully followed the user when I'm unfollowing them? So this is one thing that I was thinking about. So right now, if I just go inside, if I give it a few seconds delay, then I think it works differently. Right now, I got three print messages which successfully followed the user, and I don't think so that I'm following the user. Okay, I'm following the user. Now we can just unfollow, and it still says successfully followed the user, which is wrong, I believe, because it should have unfollowed the user, but no, it did not. So following is still there, but it still asks me if I want to follow, so this is weird. Okay, it is giving me that unfollow button. How about I click on unfollow? It should say successfully unfollowed the user. So this is there. And we don't have any following array anymore because we are just following one person and that is removed. So this is fine, but now I'm still thinking that why is it not updating in real time? So what could we do here basically? So coming back to our code, I think the functionality being passed on here is that even though we could add a print statement that states view model is following is actually if is following is not true, then we follow, so it's actually false, and we can copy this out and paste it here and it's actually true. So this is one more print statement. So let's just check for ourselves like what is the view model is following coming out to be. So right now in our fresh start, I don't think so we are following that person. So that sets the ground that okay, we have a clean state to work with. Okay, yeah, we have a clean slate. Now what we can do is go inside our app, we can check our followers, gone is there, we go to following, no one is there. What we do is we go to followers, we go inside gone. We are not following this person. What we can do is we can click on follow. What it should do is that it states view model is following is actually false and successfully followed the user. So this works fine. It states it's actually false and I am calling following functionality. Now if I click on unfollow, it still states view model is following is actually false, which means that our is following functionality is not working. So there is one more thing that I can do is that I could check that view model dot following contains, and this contains would have let's just say let's go inside here and check user follows had that same code. So it says contains something like this. So okay, our syntax is right only. What we can do is that we can check that database user dot user. Okay, so if view model dot following does not contain the database user, it would actually try to follow, and if it does contain, it would unfollow basically. And let's just see that handle follow what all it does. So handle follow not only just do the handle follow, but it also fetches the user following data. So that is fine by us. We can add a print statement here also, that following array is being updated. So it could tell us that when it is being updated and when it is being updated not. And okay, this is following and this is followers array is being updated. This was not really needed, but let's just go for it. So that we know that our boolean value was messing up. So I think this would be a better check to know whether or not this thing works fine. Now we have our user, we could go to our following, we still have this user. What we would do is that we have the unfollow functionality, which seems fine. And what I was thinking is that we should check if it contains, then we should say unfollow, otherwise follow. So let's just go here and quickly check this out. So see your following, this person is there, we still have the unfollow button. So that check is somehow working. We click on unfollow and this states successfully unfollowed. This is fine. It takes a few seconds. That is fine. We'll finally add a loader or something here so that it works fine. We click on follow and successfully followed the user. Okay, this is fine. We click on again unfollow and it slowly updates and successfully unfollowed. So this is better than our previous is following value because that was not being actually updated. So that is one thing. We can go here and check for ourselves where all it is being updated. So I feel like it was being updated, but because it's a dispatch queue, so it was taking few seconds to complete, and that is why it was causing some issues. So this is there, and okay, this works fine. So we could keep this functionality for now, and we just solved a bug. Right now, it might seem a bit complicated. Obviously, there are ways to simplify this whole thing, but for now, I believe that it seems fine to me. I mean, we have added some functionality, so this is there, that is there. This seems fine to me. So we solved this bug, and now we can just finally continue with adding. We can continue with adding our Kingfisher library so that we can use it for image loading, because right now it's super slow. You could see still it's loading, so it's taking quite a lot of time to load things up, which is not ideal. So yeah, we'll go about fixing that, and then we can move on to the home feed, and later on what else we could do. So we have the home feed, and then we can move on to the in-app purchases also shortly. So yeah, I hope to see you in the next video.